Hey everyone, Joel here with Bad Bassin'. Today we're going to cover the 10 things that are on your kayak fishing checklist that you don't want to leave your house without. Now let's get into it. So the first one that we're going to talk about, no surprise here everyone, it's your PFD. So I know right now those PFDs that are auto-inflate are super popular. A lot of people wear them. I personally don't. I want something that one has a lot of storage space, pockets and stuff that I can put things in, and two, I don't have to worry about automatically inflating if for some reason I'm not able to do it myself or make sure it happens. So I wear a normal Old Town vest style PFD, and whenever I'm in kayak fishing, I always wear it no matter what. It's a rule on a lot of the tournaments I do, but again, I like the storage space. But the overall reason why you need to wear it is kayak fishing can be extremely dangerous. The chance of you ending up in the water is much higher than it is for regular boat fishing. So you want to make sure that you always have your PFD, never forget it. It's super important. A lot of times when they find kayak anglers in the water and unfortunately didn't make it, it's because they didn't have their PFD. So always wear that. That is number one. Okay, so number two here, and this is really kind of location specific, but a VHF marine radio. Now, obviously, you're not going to wear it if you're going into some small inland lake or a medium-sized lake or really most any inland body of water, but it is something that's super important. Like in Michigan with me, anytime I'm on any of the Great Lakes or Lake St. Clair or something like that, I always bring a marine VHF radio because obviously the frequencies, the channels work out there. And if I get into trouble out on that kind of water, like a Lake St. Clair or a Lake Michigan or a Lake Huron, you have the ability to reach the people that can get to you as soon as possible. Get one. You can find a lot of them. You can find them on Amazon, but get one that floats, get one that's somewhat reputable, and at least make sure you can get hold of the Coast Guard or some other watercraft if you need to. But if you're on big bodies of water, if you're on the ocean, a VHF handheld radio is super important to have. Okay, so item number 3 here, we're going to say in the safety category, is a wearable strobe light. So I wear a strobe light on me at all times, and it's not necessarily because I always need it. It's more because I'm not going to take it on and off constantly. But if you might not necessarily need one on a small inland lake, obviously, but if you're out on any big water, I have one that I just tighten up and it goes on and it starts strobing, and it's good for, I don't know, maybe 16 hours or something like that. If you're going to be out there at night, especially at night, or you're going to be out there in the dawn or dusk, anything can happen. You can lose your kayak, you can flip and then lose the ability to be on your kayak, and it's going to be super hard for them to see you. So a light just helps you that much more. It's super inexpensive, it's easy, it's not, a hindrance or anything like that. It doesn't weigh a lot. You can find them on Amazon, but look into getting something like that and wear one on you on your PFD. Okay, so item number 4 here is your cell phone. Now, we've talked a lot about safety, but obviously you can call someone if you need help, but the cell phone also gives you the ability to check the weather and keep up to date on that as well. And also, in a lot of the tournaments I need my cell phone to be able to take pictures of the fish. Obviously, if you get a nice fish and you're not recording or something like that, you want to take a picture of it. So, cell phone, super important to have when you're going kayak fishing. Okay, so item number 5 here. Again, you're in a kayak, so you're going to probably end up in the water at some point. So tethers for all the super important things are necessary. So you can get tethers for your rods and reels. You can get tethers for all the miscellaneous things. A big one is a tether for your cell phone. We just talked about the cell phone. Now let's get a tether for it. Put it on your PFD, so at least you might end up in the water and it's on you, but at least if you're out taking a picture, then you can easily avoid accidentally dropping it in the water. Some of the things that you can get for your rods, you can get little floats. They're like pool noodles, or you can take pool noodles, and I used to do that, cut them up, put them on your rods, and then zip tie them together, and at least you're going to be able to recover your rod if you need to. Okay, so number 6 here is a 360-degree light and flag. Now, there's a lot of companies that make them. You can get them on Amazon. Yak Attack makes one that a lot of people have. But Irregardless, even if you're on the water during the daytime and the light isn't going to help you, you should have some sort of pole with a flag on it. Even if you're in a sitting kayak and you're not even necessarily fishing. It's super important that visibility is there, and you should wear bright colors, wear SPF, but make them bright colors so that way people can see you. You're very low in the water. It's hard for boats to see you when they're up on plane. So wear things that they're going to be able to see. Wear a light if it's dawn or dusk. Have 360 light on, even if you're not motorized. In my state, you got to have one if you're motorized, but if you're not, you don't. You should. You really should. And have some sort of high vis flag on your kayak. Okay, so number 7 here. I know it sounds ridiculous, but let's be honest. Kayak fishing is growing. There's a lot of different stuff that's going on kayaks. So number 7 is insurance. Now, I know it's crazy, but a couple years ago, if you would have told me that you would be putting insurance on a kayak, I would have thought you were nuts. But after looking at some things and the amount of equipment that you start putting on it, the amount of gear that you can put on them now, yeah, I got insurance on my kayak. I would recommend to anyone, think about the replacement costs and the amount of money that you have on that kayak. It's super easy, obviously, to flip. It's super easy, obviously, to get in a bad situation. So the last thing you want to do is end up on a slow kayak with a fast leak. So think about it. There are companies out there that will insure kayaks. They will insure the items that are on the kayaks, including the fishing gear itself. So look into it. It's something that I think everyone should, that's serious about kayak fishing to that extent and to that level, should seriously consider getting. Okay, so number 8 here, in addition to your general fishing tools like pliers and line cutters and stuff like that, make sure you have a knife with you. Not only a knife on the kayak, but I would suggest that you have at least a knife that's attached to your PFD in case you fall in case you get wrapped up in something, you can easily get yourself free. But a knife is always good to have when you're doing any sort of outdoor activity. So a flashlight is also something that's very typical for people to have. So make sure you bring at least 2 flashlights with you. Okay, so number 9 here is going to be Mend It or super glue. They come in super handy when you're fishing. You can use Mend It to fix any of your soft plastics. It's a great option to give a little bit more life to those baits. And then you can use super glue to attach those lures and everything, soft plastics, to a whole bunch of different stuff in your hooks and stuff like that. So in addition to the Mend It or the super glue, also look at maybe a hook sharpener. Keep those hooks sharp so that way you're never going to lose fish. All right, so number 10 here, some sort of measuring board or scale. If you get a nice fish, you want to be able to measure it. You want to be able to measure it correctly. If you're in a tournament, obviously you're going to have some sort of measuring board, but have a scale. You can get a cheap one, put it in your black pack or put it in whatever sack that you have back there, and you're able to, get a good weight on your fish. You're able to get a good length on your fish. You don't have to go on to Facebook or Reddit or something and ask how big or how much it weighed. So get that. Also, if you get a record-setting fish for you, personal best in whatever species, you can take accurate measurements with it. And then if you ever want to get it replicated by a taxidermist or something like that, then it's done and you got good measurements on it. So those are 10 things you don't want to leave your house without when going kayak fishing. If you think of anything else, leave it in the comments. I'd like to know what you guys come up with. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.